What's up, everybody? Thralls Metal here once again. I'm Necrotic Nick, and here we are at the end of year list. I'm about to go over my top 40 albums of 2022. This was another fucking killer year for metal, possibly better than the year before. I had a rough time fucking going over this list. I initially had over 60 on this list, so whittling it down to 40 was fucking tough. And as always, I'm breaking this up into 3 sections. We're gonna go over number 40 through 26 on this one. And this is always like the toughest part of the list because generally I go by feeling like in terms of which albums grabbed me the most, and towards the end, it is a fight for those last couple of positions. So this section's always one of the roughest for me because this is the point where I have to leave some stuff off that I absolutely loved as well. I could have easily made a top 50, but I chose not to just because that's a lot of fucking extra editing, and I've stuck with 40 thus far. So yeah, there are definitely some bands that I absolutely love that put out killer albums that just didn't quite make the list just because I didn't feel as strongly about those releases as I did others. But that happens when you listen to hundreds of metal albums a year just to figure out what is like the cream of the crop for the year. So without further ado, let's kick this off with number 40, which is He Is Legend, Endless Hallway. This one kind of crept on my list. I was legit taken back at the blend of different styles in here. You have metalcore mixed with southern rock, mixed with a bit of like straight up groove metal, kind of like Lamb of God, except it's this blend in creativity and writing style that they have, employing Meshuggah-like breakdowns with just flat-out southern rock riffing. Man, that is just fucking fun. The songs are absolutely infectious, especially songs like Return to the Garden, which I absolutely love that. The slow, sludgy start to it and the sort of like southern rock rambling and then breaking into just big fucking gnarly riffs and a giant chorus. The Prowler is an absolutely killer opener, leading in with, again, Meshuggah style breakdowns and then going into like a D-beat sort of thrashy fury and a big old fucking chuggy breakdown on the chorus. This is just a pure fun release, riff after riff, and I love the creativity and the songwriting on here. That is one of the main things that drove the point home. I even went out and got the album before this that I was missing, and honestly, this one's, I think, even better than that one, and I know that one got a lot of praise. If you slept on this album for whatever reason, I urge you to check it out. This is, again, one of those super fun releases that came out that was just infectious and grew more infectious through every fucking listen. So yeah, He Is Legend, kicking it off, awesome fucking album. At number 39, we have Decapitated, Cancer Culture. This has been my favorite Decapitated album since Decapitated came back with Carnival Is Forever. I thought that album was good. Subsequent releases kind of dipped off for me, but this one came back with a fury, kind of recapturing everything that I loved about the band initially. With their more recent releases, they definitely explored more melody, and that is on here, but back is the intensity and the flat-out death metal sound. That was the element I thought that was missing on the last couple of albums. They just didn't have that intensity or fire. Like, sure, everything was being played fast, but I didn't feel like there was a lot of, you know, death metal back behind it. It kind of felt like, you know, technical groove metal. Nothing wrong with that, but that isn't what I got into Decapitated for, and this brings it back. Cancer Culture, the song, and Just a Cigarette offer some of the fucking most ferocious drum work on here, but it's Hello Death in particular that was a huge favorite of mine. Utilizing Tatiana from Ginger's amazing vocal range, that song is an absolute fucking standout, showcasing both their knack for melody and their knack for incredibly badass syncopated breakdowns. Pretty much everything I love about Decapitated came back on this one, and that is definitely why it's here. If you slept on this one for whatever reason, maybe because the last two didn't grab you much like they didn't grab me, definitely check this one out. Decapitated are back, and they're back with the fucking fury. At number 38, we have Axioma Sepsis. This is an Ohio-based blackened sludge, almost kind of doom metal, death metal, pretty much a hybrid of all things heavy and dark, and these guys reached out to us to actually do a review, and this is one of the few CD copies I think that actually exists, because they actually burned us a copy of this, because I think this is only on vinyl. But I was already a fan of them after seeing them live multiple times. Absolutely crushing. It reminded me of like the first time I saw Neurosis back in '97, which, holy shit, that was a long time ago. But this album is brooding and dark and thick. Elements of post-metal weaving into black metal and sludge metal and death metal heaviness. Oh my fucking god, this is just nasty. This whole album flows beautifully. It is dark. It is at times very melodic, lots of dissonant atmosphere. but for the most part, it is just ferocious. The alternating roars and screams in here are excellent. I love the guitar work. The production here is fucking top-notch. The drum work is excellent. It isn't just slow post-metal, droning. There's lots of blast beats and really clever fills in here. I revisited this one quite a bit, and man, this was just such an awesome release. Again, thank you so much to Axioma for sending us this. It's absolutely awesome. I hope that they actually do an official release of this on CD because, I feel like this is, a little too delicate. Like, I even feel nervous, like, holding it because I'm afraid the CD is going to slide out. So, Axioma Sepsis, number 38. Fucking fantastic album. Also, they're from Ohio, so it's also cool that I get a Reps from Ohio medal. But yeah, absolutely killer stuff. At number 37, we have Hangman's Chair, A Loner. I jammed a couple of tracks by these guys before the album came out, and instantly I was pretty much hooked at how much this band sounds like Typo Negative. This hit me right in my typo feels, and for anyone that has seen me talk about that band, whether it's a ranking or a awesome deep dive I did over on Metal Madness's channel, I fucking love Typo Negative. They occupy a unique space in terms of my musical taste, both leaning towards goth rock and then just like flat out doom metal. They just captured it perfectly, and this band actually got that sound down really well. The guitars are thick and droning. There's massive reverb throughout the entire production and clean vocals on this entire thing that are not as deep or as sultry as Peter's, but few are, but they complement the music well. This is pretty much perfect sad boy, I'm bummed out, it's raining outside sort of music, and if you just want to sit back and maybe kind of wallow in it, I don't know. I generally urge you to do something a little bit more constructive so you don't get stuck in the fucking doldrums. But this would be a good soundtrack to it. The song Who Wants to Die Old is so goddamn good. But the opening track, An Ode to Breakdown, really got me as well. Like, this whole album just kind of captured that whole mood. It reminded me of sitting alone in my room listening to my typo CDs as a shitty, pissed off, and, admittedly sad fucking teenager. But nostalgia alone isn't gonna make me love something as much as I really love this one. The songwriting here is fantastic. The hooks are absolutely amazing, albeit bleak as hell. This is just a fantastic album and a band that I didn't know existed up until this release. They actually have, I believe, a few more releases ahead of this, and this is my first exposure to them. So I'm definitely going to go hunting for more, and I would say if you have never heard of this band, start here. This is an absolutely fantastic release. Sure, it's depressing as hell, but this is just good music to mope around to. Number 37, amazing shit. At number 36, we have Ataraxie, The Last Mirror. I've been a fan of this band for a while. They started off as more of a death metal act and then sort of shifted more into atmospheric death doom. They are still listed as death metal on the archives, and I think they need to change that because this is flat out death doom and it's awesome. Lots of great riffs, cavernous vocals, very distant, very atmospheric, but man, it knows how to lay down the fucking hammer. The song, The Bell That Constantly Sounds, possibly one of my favorite songs I think they've done here recently. But honestly, this whole album might be one of my favorite things they've done since transitioning their sound over to more death doom. This is an absolutely fantastic, haunting, dark album. And completely unlike the last one, instead of wallowing in the misery, this just crushes you with it. It is oppressive as hell, dark. I love that shit about death doom or death metal. They're death doom. Let's just call them death doom. But pretty much since reviewing this when it came out, which this came out quite a while ago, I want to say it was early spring, late winter, I constantly return to this one. This is just fantastic fucking songwriting and definitely scratched a very particular death metal itch that I had. If you love death doom and you haven't checked this out, this is an absolutely amazing album, and I would still say check out the rest of this band's work because I think they put out pretty much nothing but solid stuff. I wasn't as big of a fan of the last one, but this is absolutely fucking fantastic. Number 36, Ataraxie. Check this shit out. At number 35, we have Conan, Evidence of Immortality. I fucking love this band, and I think they've only gotten better with each release. And this one, I think, is possibly one of their most creative releases so far. Of course, you get the giant stoner doom droning riffs that they are known for. Holy shit, their tone is legendary, and I feel like it could melt speakers. Actually, that might be part of the reason why my old speaker fucking died, is we played this forever ago, and it was like, yeah, no, I can feel death coming after that one. But I think the songwriting here got a little bit more creative in terms of employing different elements, namely levitation hooks, leading in with blast beats. Blast beats are almost unheard of in stoner doom, but they did it, and they still managed to work it into their sound very effectively. But it's when they do what they do well, being flat out doomy and just crushingly heavy, namely the songs Ritual of Anonymity and, man, that last track, Grief Sequence, is a giant bleak soundscape. It sounds like the stoner doom version of like a score to a movie like Blade Runner. The big sweeping synths, the droning riffs, everything just hits you with wave after wave of sonic fucking overkill, maybe. I don't know. It's so goddamn heavy, but it's so damn engaging. Again, being a fan of this band for a number of years, man, I really like this shift. This album really stands out from a lot of their releases. I own most of them. I think the only one I'm missing is their debut. But this one could potentially be a new favorite. Absolutely killer release. If you love stoner doom and you want to hear it done maybe a little bit outside of the box in some regards, definitely check this out. It's an absolutely fantastic release. And yeah, just get some Conan, because Conan is fucking awesome. Like, this is as cool as Conan the Barbarian, and definitely cooler than Conan the Destroyer. I'm still not a huge fan of that movie. But yeah, get yourself some Conan. This is awesome. At number 34, we have Hath, All That Was Promised. I became a fan of this band with their last album of Rotten Ruin. I absolutely love their blend of death metal, melodic death metal, and black metal. And with this one, I think All That Was Promised was possibly a better album. I don't know, it's debatable. I'm a huge fan of that last one, but this is at least on that level. And holy shit, the songwriting here is absolutely fantastic. This band is both technical but melodic and atmospheric. They know how to just pummel you with crushing riffs, but also make their album sound lush and atmospheric, and almost progressive to a degree with the amount of elements that they blend together. The song Lithopedic might be one of my favorite songs they've ever written. It's like blackened death metal Bloodbath, and everyone knows I adore Bloodbath. But the proggy flourishes that are on Kenosis, I just love their songwriting. Like, they have very creative songwriting, but it doesn't deviate very much from just flat out delivering crushing death metal. This is an absolutely fantastic release. So far, everything that I've heard from this band has been fantastic, so they're keeping that fucking trend alive with this one. If you have not checked out this album for whatever fucking reason, it's fucking amazing. The only reason why it was a little bit lower on here is like, man, I am not sure if it's as good as the last one. It's at least on par with it though, but yeah, this is fucking fantastic. Hath rules. Definitely check them out. At number 33, we have Alexisonfire Otherness. There's always a non-metal album that squeaks its way out of my list, and this one has quickly become one of my favorites of the year. Sure, this has heavy guitars, but this isn't like, you know, metal heavy. This is more hard rock / post-hardcore heavy. I've been a fan of this band for years. I want to say at least since their second album, Watch Out. I love their knack for melody and solid hooks, but it still was pretty damn heavy. But man, it is honestly the vocals of Dallas on here. Dallas is such a damn good singer, and he showcases it beautifully, especially on the chorus, the song Blue Spade. Might be one of my favorite songs this year. Everything he delivers with heart. It's very soulful and very tuneful, and it just sounds like he is bearing his soul every time he fucking sings. The title track, or essentially the title track, Sweet Dreams of Otherness, has this wonderful, almost bluesy inflection in his voice, but that's contrasted by George's more visceral, fucking raw, kind of hardcore punk delivery, especially on songs like Committed to the Con and Survivor's Guild. Like, he just sounds fucking pissed off. I absolutely love this album. It's definitely not metal, it's very sing-songy, but holy shit, if you just like good songwriting, this band fucking nailed it. And this was their first album in a number of years. They actually broke up for a while and came back with this, and well, I mean, this is one of my comeback albums of the year. There'll be more of that later, but man, excellent stuff. Again, definitely not metal, but it's still really fucking good. So Alexisonfire Otherness, check this shit out. It's awesome. At number 32, we have Goatwhore, Angels Hung from the Arches of Heaven. I feel like it's been a while since Goatwhore put out something. I really enjoyed their last album, albeit I think it was a little bit more atmospheric. This could conceivably be my favorite Goatwhore album now. This has really crept up on my list. I absolutely love the songwriting here. I think this is some of Sammy's best riff work in Goatwhore. They pretty much bring all the thrash, all the death metal, and all the black metal. Ben sounds absolutely fucking feral with his vocals, and some of their best songs I think they've written to date. Namely the last track, And I Was Delivered from the Wound of Perdition. Holy shit, that song is epic, dreary. The melody that repeats in there in the beginning is, I think, one of the catchiest melodies they've ever fucking written. And while they experiment more with a little bit more atmosphere on here, this goes right for the throat with what they do well. Blackened death metal / death thrash. Songs like Nile and Death from Above bring the D beat and all the fucking fury of the riffs. It's just what Goatwhore does well, except I think it's even more refined on this. Right from the second I heard the lead-off single, Born of Satan's Flesh, I knew Goatwhore was back and they meant fucking business. And yeah, this album delivers. I don't think there's a weak song on here. Goatwhore just knows how to fucking bring the intensity, but they showcased a little bit more on this one, and I think they found that balance between melody, atmosphere, and their token brutality. This is an absolutely fantastic album, much like I'm gonna say about every fucking album on here, but Goatwhore fucking came back with a fucking fury, and it wasn't as though they were putting out fucking crap before this. It's just, man, they put out like the Goatwhore album, at least in my opinion so far. Anyway, Goatwhore fucking rules. Number 32 on my list. Fucking whoop-ass album. Check it out. Number 31, Wiegedood or Wiegedood. I still have no idea how to say this band's name. There Was Always Blood at the End of the Road. This is another one I went over earlier in the year. I think it was maybe early spring, late winter again, kind of that, you know, like hazy period of it's mostly just fucking mud season and it won't stop raining and or snowing and or sleeting and oh, I'm pretty much just saying Ohio weather sucks. But I was intrigued by the singles and legit disturbed by the fucking videos they put out, especially I think it was the lead-off single FN Scar 16, which involved some smiling deranged person sitting across from another person that was tied to a chair, and I don't know, just watch the video. It's fucking creepy. But I loved their sound. I had heard about this band courtesy of the fact that they are part of the Church of Ra, you know, attached to Amen-Ra and all its offshoots. And this was my first exposure to them. And holy shit, this is just such a visceral, dark, dissonant, chaotic, but strangely alluring album. There are elements of atmosphere in here that are flat out unsettling. And when you consider the band's name, what it actually is, it's even more disturbing. And for those that don't know, I believe the band's name is actually a reference to the word for sudden infant death syndrome in Belgian, I think, or maybe Danish. I can't remember which language, but that is what it means. So as silly as the name sounds, it is about like the darkest shit. But honestly, that works with the music and the whole vibe of this album. Songs like Now Will Always Be and Until It's Not explore both like the nasty dark side of black metal, that more raw second wave sound, but mixed in with just horrifying atmosphere and screams that sound like they're absolutely fucking tortured. This is kind of a rough listen, but I really got into it. Like, it's just such a dark sounding album, and it delivers on some really clever dissonant hooks. Flat out vicious, thoroughly unsettling. Definitely check out Wiegedood or however the fuck you say it. But yeah, this is an absolutely fantastic release. Check it out. At number 30, we have Kvaen. I think that's how you say that. Back-to-back bands that I just don't know how to say their name. The Great Below. This is the second album from this one-man black metal act. And I know what you think, one-man black metal act. Most people think, oh yeah, all right, it's bedroom black metal and it's gonna sound like shit. No. This is some of the best black metal I heard this year, just in terms of songwriting, production. It's not raw, it's well produced, and holy shit is it riffy and catchy. The title track alone reminds me more of bands like Skeleton Witch with its blend of thrash riffs and black metal atmosphere. There's great lead work, the riff work is sublimely catchy but never loses that blackened edge. The song In Silence is almost like a fucking love letter to classic Dissection and fucking Emperor. Everything about this album is flat out awesome. I could not believe how catchy it was. I was a big fan of their debut, and I think they absolutely surpassed it with this one. In terms of one-man projects in black metal right now, I would say this is one of my favorites. This guy captures so much of just black metal on a lot of different spectrums. You have more raw sections that are more visceral, fast, blast beat driven, but you have sublimely like triumphant and epic moments on here, and maybe even some pagan touches. This is just, again, fan-fucking-tastic. This band definitely still flies on the radar. I'm hoping to give them a little bit more exposure with this one because this is too good to ignore. If you have not checked out this band, I would say check this one out. Of course, check out their previous one. I say there just because it's a band name. It is one guy, and he's a fantastic fucking musician and showcases all of that here. So, number 30, Kvaen, or however the fuck you say that, the Great Below. Check this shit out. At number 29, we have Descent, Order of Chaos. This Australian band blended a lot of things I like and a lot of things I like really well. This is a blend of black metal, grindcore, and fucking HM2 style death metal. Oh my god, I'm like half hard just fucking saying that out loud. Everyone knows I'm the HM2 slut. I fucking bring that up quite a bit, and with good reason, because I love HM2, but blending it with fucking black metal and I would say like even power violence and grindcore, Jesus Christ, this album is unbelievably heavy, but well written. The song Dragged Alone, with its chuggy breakdowns and just shrieking alternating vocals, my god, this is some of the heaviest stuff I've heard this year. And I had not heard of this band before this year, and then, you know, finding out they're from Australia was like, well, that makes sense because it's obscenely heavy and feels like it's venomous and will fucking murder me, much like all of their wildlife. Yeah, Australia terrifies me, but their music intrigues me. This album is without an ounce of mercy for your eardrums, for your neck. It is fast, heavy, but tons of groove-laden sections. You're just gonna bang your fucking head to this, and if you don't, it'll probably come after you and maul you like a fucking dingo. No, seriously, this is like the perfect marriage of a lot of extreme shit that I love, and they've done it exceptionally well. Anyway, this album is awesome. Their debut album is also awesome. I picked it up not long after I heard this. And yeah, no, it's got a filthy HM2 tone as well. Big fucking surprise. This is some amazing filth from down under, and I love it. And I love everything I've heard by him so far. So yeah, definitely check this out. At number 28, we have Autopsy, Morbidity, Triumphant. Holy shit, I was so excited to get a chance to go over an Autopsy album, and oh my god, they released a fucking awesome album. Chris Reifert, can we get him like the equivalent of a Academy Award for his vocal performances on any of his albums? He is one of my favorite death metal vocalists. His dramatic flair and timing on here is just insane. Couple that with the fact that he is one of the wildest drummers in fucking death metal, just because he's almost more of a punk drummer that learned how to do death metal. But this is packed with just gnarly riffs, knee-jerk transitions, songs about all sorts of over-the-top goofy violence. And if that's not apparent, you know, knife slice, axe chop, that is exactly what those things do, and that is also a title of one of the songs. But for as wild and as frantic and as punky as this band can get, they know how to bring Death Doom like no other. Like, when they bring a Death Doom breakdown, it is the doomiest thing on the fucking planet. I love the production on here. Everything sounds fucking great. The bass is very prominent and very thick and heavy. Lots of squealing guitar solos. It's Autopsy. If you love Autopsy, this is going to appeal to you. While this is a new release, it is definitely an awesome glimpse into death metal's storied past when it was still wild and gnarly and wasn't concerned with being overtly technical, and I love it. Also, this might be one of the coolest album covers of 2022. Like, I fucking love this gentleman's apparel. I got to see them at MDF this year. They put on an absolutely sick performance that inspired romance, apparently. That still fucking grosses me out. Again, being out all day in the sun, sweating in a parking lot, I know my crotch wasn't the only one that was fucking sour that day, and some dude decided to snack on that. Festival food is expensive, I get it, but dude, no. Anyway, enough of that. Autopsy rules. Morbidity, Triumphant. Fucking amazing. At number 27, we have Midnight, Let There Be Witchery. I love this band. I love that their formula is very simple and very straightforward. They bring the riff, they bring the fucking party, they bring the sleaze. It's like a satanic kegger every time I put on one of their albums, and I'm so glad that they're still inviting me. Now that I have got a chance to see them live twice, that is where to view them, but their albums still flat out rule. And as simple and straightforward as their songs are, they just know how to write clever fucking hooks. More Torment is a nice, slower bruiser of a song, but songs like In Sinful Secrecy and Sex Witchery, holy shit, they are just absolutely infectious. They squeeze in great fucking melodies. And by they, I mean, it's Athanar, it's a one-man project in the studio. And yeah, he pretty much only knows a couple of drum beats, but they're effective fucking drum beats. And yeah, Midnight did it again. Everything that I love about Midnight, once again captured. And now I have more memorable Midnight songs to fucking party to. Well, I mean, kind of party. I'm like, you know, in my mid-40s, so yeah, partying kind of hurts now. But this band makes you want to party. So yeah, once again, Midnight has fucking invaded my list, and with good fucking reason, because they just fucking deliver killer shit with every fucking offering so far. If you skipped out on this album for whatever reason, what are you doing? This is about as fun as blackened heavy metal gets. Again, it's a sleazy party full of black metal degenerates and fucking old school heavy metal bangers. That sounds like a lot of fun to me. So yeah, definitely check it out. Fucking rules. And capping it off for number 26 on here for this video is Cloud Rat with Threshold. This year has been an awesome year for grind, and you're definitely going to find out more with these future videos about how much grindcore fucking just whooped ass this year. And this band continues to just broaden their sound. This is 100% grindcore, but mixed in with elements from bands like Converge as well. There's a lot of post-hardcore melodies. The feral vocal performance on here is absolutely gut-wrenching. The drum work is absolutely insane. It's not all blast beats. There's a lot of cool atmosphere and groove on here and flat-out death metal riffs. I mean, hell, the opening track, Aluminum Branches, actually has like a slam breakdown on it. But I like the sort of fearless adventurousness of these songs. They don't care if they get into a melodic section. Melody is still invited in grindcore. But man, they know how to fucking sort of caveat over to the other side and just get absolutely blisteringly heavy. This album is as raw and feral as grindcore should be, but also there's a lot of just introspective stuff, deep emotional themes. There's a cool sort of connection to all this fucking chaos on here. I really dig this band. I was a huge fan of their last album, Pollinator, which almost made my list in, I believe it was 2019. But there was no way I could ignore this one this time. This is just a flat-out fantastic release, and I think they're only getting better. If you have not checked out Cloud Rat yet, oh my god, this band is, I think, one of the coolest new grindcore bands out there. Unfortunately, I missed them in MDF, but believe me, if they come around this area, I'm definitely going to see them live because I have a feeling this is going to be absolutely intense as hell live. So yeah, Cloud Rat, number 26, capping off this video. And yeah, that is part one of my top 40 for 2022. Hopefully there were some cool surprises in there, and there's plenty more coming. Actually, I want to get down to shooting that one not long after I'm done shooting this one. So as always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe, because we do stuff like this all the time. We are also on Patreon. If you'd like to help us out there, there is a link down below to thrallsmetal.com. Our Patreon link is there. We also have t-shirts for sale. We do need to restock. That is something we need to do definitely, because we are, I believe, out of extra larges. And extra larges are a very popular size, especially with most of us metalheads. We also have polls that have gone up for our next batch of rankings after we do Crowbar. So if you are one of our patrons, get on there and vote. And again, if you are interested in joining our Patreon, the link is down below. Denver Death Fest will be taking place April 20th through the 22nd in Denver, Colorado, because, I mean, it's Denver Death Fest. I make this joke all the time, and I'm trying to think of different ways to make it, but I kind of missed that one. Anyway, we will be making an announcement come the new year about the lineup. I don't know if it'll be the complete lineup, as we may still add bands, but I don't know anything about it, so you will be as surprised as me. We will have a video up for that, though, and we're looking forward to fucking doing this whole thing and hanging out with you guys. And, of course, thank you all so much for liking, subscribing, following. It has been amazing doing this. It's just surreal that we've got this far, and I don't know, like with every year, it seems like this is, again, grown into something well beyond my expectations, but it's a really fucking cool thing, and I love fucking doing this. And I'll be honest, it is pretty much due to you guys. It's fucking amazing. So one more time, big awkward thank you, and we will catch you later.